We are just excited for the opportunity to compete tomorrow against a different color jersey. I think we're tired of our beating up on our practice guys in crimson versus white, and so we're just we've been waiting for this since March the 13th, an opportunity to compete again. So love where our team is at. Love the fact that we're 28 practices in. The effort, the energy, the leadership has been tremendous, and we're ready to kick the season off.
Questions for Coach?
Yeah, hey, Coach, James Living from Tide. We actually spoke last night on the radio, so good to talk with you again today. Tell us just a little bit of some things that you're going to be looking for tomorrow from your team in the first game of the season. What are some things that you're hoping to see tomorrow on the
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us on the show last night. We appreciate your support of our program. With this experience that we'll have tomorrow, I think one of the biggest things that we're going to be looking forward to is the opportunity to go out and execute a game plan. So we're in our 2-day scout routine. We actually have actual opponent to talk about and to go out and execute. We know they're going to play some 1-2-2 zone, which is hard to simulate because we don't play that way and neither do our practice guys. So we've been preparing for that for the last week and a half. Their tendencies as far as individual players and just their system. We've worked hard the last week and a half, and so I'll be curious to see how we go out and execute the game plan tomorrow.
Go ahead, Roger.
Hey, Coach, we've seen a lot of the practice footage and photos released. Your players wearing a lot of the neck gaiters or wearing masks as they're practicing. I'm wondering if that's going to carry over to the games and how comfortable they are kind of wearing those during games.
We've tried to do everything that we can to be as safe as possible. We have worn the mask in practice a little longer than most folks and most teams on our campus and other campuses just because we want to make sure we do everything we possibly can. Monday, we allowed our players to take those off if they wanted to. If they want to compete in a mask, we're fine with that as well. But most of them have chosen when we're within the lines to wear a mask. But outside the lines, the weight room, anytime we're in the locker room, anytime we're in the training room, at any other point in time, we're wearing those masks. So we're just going to take them off. You'll see as they come off the floor, we're going to have a protocol with our medical staff and how we're handling that, and they're to immediately put their mask on. We're not allowed to play in gaiters. I know the football team has. I know some other sports have, but the basketball rule is that we cannot play in a gaiter. We're going to have gaiters available if they want to slip them over their head, but us girls with hair, we gotta be quick on and off, especially for substitution purposes. So we've really spent time with our kids making them understand to be ready to go. We've got to get further. We're further away from the table. And then the mask situation, we got to get those off quickly. So I've loved how our team has responded and bought in, and we just want to be great examples and role models of wearing masks and trying to, hope that influences our community as well.
All right, James Fletcher.
Hey, Coach. What can we expect from the rotation going in this game? Obviously, you've got 4 returning starters, but what can we expect beyond that?
Well, we would like to go deep into our bench. I think that'll depend on how the game flows and how the game goes. Obviously, we're about to play, a lot of games. 6 games in nearly 10 days. So I'm concerned about that from a standpoint of making sure that we're not getting too many minutes. And I feel like our bench can bring a lot. We will look to go to our bench early and often and get that rotation down. But I think it's going to dictate how the game goes. We have tried to prepare small lineup, big lineup, because with COVID and the situation, we're not sure, if that starts to happen within our team. We've got to be prepared to play because the SEC rule is 8. We have 8 we're going to play. So we've spent a lot of time on different combinations in a small lineup and tried to be prepared. So our bench, I love where they're at. I love their competitiveness. You're going to see players much improved. That freshman to sophomore jump and then that sophomore to junior jump. I couldn't be any more pleased, and I would say that about every single one of them. Our only freshman, Myra Gordon, has worked so hard to try and adjust and adapt to the pace. So I love our bench, and they have to be prepared because of the situation that not just a rotation for us, but, what happens if COVID happens to strike, and we've got to be prepared to play with 8.
Okay, James Ludeman.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the limited attendance issues. I mean, obviously, it's affected every sport. I know you guys are going to play the same way, regardless if there was 1 or 1,000. But does that have any effect on you guys as far as the atmosphere is concerned, especially at home?
Well, I think that we're going to try to turn everything. Just the fact that we're getting to play is a positive, and I know our players are so appreciative of that. That we know that if there are not folks in the stands that would want to be there but can't, that they're going to be watching. And I know we don't have a band. I know we're going to have a different environment. We're practicing today with fan noise, and we're trying to make a choice. Do we go that route because it's kind of monotone, or do we not? So how do we prepare? But at the end of the day, our kids are so thankful for what they're representing, and we're just excited to play. And those that can't come out, we hope they're watching online. And those that can come out, we really appreciate them being in the stands. So we're willing to, our focus is we're just so thankful to play, and we're going to do everything that we can to play as hard and smart and together.
All right, time for one more if anybody's got one for Coach.
Hey, Kristy. I
Hey.
have one question regarding the overall playbook. Some coaches' philosophy going into this pandemic season is I'm going to get everything in case there's stoppages so that when we pick back up, we're ready. Others have been like, you know what? We're going to control what we can control. What's been your approach to this?
We've got the playbook in, and with an experienced team, I think that has allowed us to. So, and we've not only gotten the playbook in a little deeper because we have, a 5-out series where we're playing 5 perimeter players and we're 5'8" at the 5 because we don't know what we're going to be faced with. So 4 days a week, we've taken time within practice for 8 to 10, 12 minutes to work on that small lineup. And because we're going to have to adjust and adapt, and we don't know when we're going to be faced with that. We hope we're not, but if we are, we're going to be prepared. You can't do that 2 days out and expect success. And so from a defensive standpoint and an offensive standpoint, obviously you're going to see a lot of zone if that starts to happen. So, at the end of the day, we feel like we're so much further ahead because of 4 or 5 starters returning. And, will we put some special situations in depending on opponents and the scout? Absolutely. But our playbook is in and we're ready to roll.
Good luck.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank you.
Thanks.